So the first thing I wanted to ask was what it was like working with Jon as a director.
It was wonderful. I mean, there's just sort of superlatives to say about Jon, unfortunately. No sort of damning criticisms. He's really better than you think he could be, and you already expect him to be so wonderful. So, it was the reason I did the movie was as soon as I heard he was making a movie, I wanted to be a part of it in any capacity, and then the experience was better than I could have imagined.
Jon's very, very capable as a director and writer, as we see in this script. I want to throw in a big shout out to Bobby Bukowski, who worked behind the camera. And I think Jon and he had a really good relationship. Bobby explained beyond maybe an extra shot here to cover this scene. I think Jon Stewart was in good hands and a good partnership with Bukowski. Made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
When you were preparing for this film, did Jon want you to watch anything specific, like Mr. Deeds Goes to Town or Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, or any sort of films to kind of give you an idea of what he was going for?
Did he for you, Mackenzie?
He didn't for me. The only sort of stuff he gave me or recommended this book on Wisconsin local politics that I read. I forget the name of it now, but it was sort of about what happened, the changing political tides in Wisconsin that was interesting, and that is it.
When you're playing these sort of small town characters, how do you make sure that they feel real and lived in, as opposed to the kind of the caricature that like a character like Gary has in his mind of who these people are?
I think just being a real person and not assuming that if you live in a small town, you have any sort of essential character difference to somebody who lives in a city. Obviously, like, your environment shapes you, but I think maybe not approaching it as though there needs to be an extra layer of character because they grew up in this small town.
And I was also kind of curious, your characters, I don't want to give anything away, but there are certain motivations that you have to keep hidden. And I was curious, how do you sort of keep that in the back of your mind when you're playing a scene so that the film then works again on a repeat viewing?
I think that's the point of that, is to not give it away to the audience. There's a big reveal for this film, several reveals, and my relationship with the father-daughter relationship. There's a subtext going on that the audience cannot know about, But you keep it in mind, sure.
Chris, we have a lot of Muppet fans on our staff, and some were kind of curious with your character playing the villain in the Muppets, how much that changed from the final cut of the film.
Oh gosh, I was thrilled to be a part of that. I completely missed the Muppets era, and had no idea how strongly people adore the Muppets. And when we shot it in Los Angeles, knowing that all these actors that live around Los Angeles were daily approaching the director, the producer, saying, can I do anything, any kind of cameo to just be a part of this? So I was totally ignorant of how popular the Muppets were.
Mackenzie, I wanted to ask you, what was it like working with Hiro Murai on Station 11, and how far did you guys get into production before you had to shut down?
Well, Station 11 was always shooting in two parts, part in the winter and part in the summer. So my part hadn't begun shooting yet. Hiro and Patrick and they were shooting sort of a different era of the show that took place in Chicago in the winter. So they only got a couple episodes in, and then we were supposed to start shooting again the portion that I was in June. And of course that hasn't happened. So I'm on pins and needles to find out what it's like.
Is it kind of weird going in, given the subject matter of Station 11 and what we're going through right now?
I mean, the irony would be impossible to miss that our pandemic show got canceled by a pandemic, but I think it's giving us a lot of lived experience to draw from.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your time, and I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you.